Today's webinar is going to cover sign-up forms and how you can use those for lead generation. In this webinar, what we'll be covering is the benefits of your sign-up forms, sign-up form best practices to think about how to design and build your form, the importance of customizing your call to action to encourage users and visitors on your site to complete your form and give you their information. We'll design and build a form within GreenRope. I'll show you how to set up an automatic new lead nurturing series. Then we'll go through the different ways to embed the sign-up form on your website. Then we'll end up with some reviews and questions. A bit about myself, my name is Madison Potter. I am on the marketing and implementation team over here at GreenRope. And you can find me at madison@greenrope.com or our support team at support@greenrope.com if you do have any questions. When you're thinking about lead generation, the content is really the fuel behind your lead generation efforts. The content comes from your blog post, your website, your marketing, your social media, all this content that you share with your leads and drives them to your website. That is the fuel that gets the clients and visitors to your site. And so having them fill out that sign-up form and giving you their information is really where this lead can now starting to get nurtured within your account. So really focus on the content that you're sharing, make sure that there's good content that you are putting out there with SEO and PPC. And then with your sign-up form that we're about to build, make sure that there is some sort of benefit that your leads can get through giving you their information. So some benefits of using the sign-up form. This includes just efficiency. It's a really quick way that you can get these lead generation to come in from your website to your CRM. And because it's directly connected to your CRM, it's really just a seamless connection that adds contacts to your account and you can start the nurturing process. The sign-up forms can be embedded into any external site or landing page. And there's many different routing options that you can do. So let's say someone comes through your form, you can add them into different groups based on their interest, different sales reps based on where the lead is coming from. And so there's a lot of different routing options that you can do to segment these leads. If you're using a form through GreenRope and all the nurturing is coming through there as well, you do have this level of professionalism because it creates this consistent customer experience where they know what to expect, the branding is all the same, and it's just the seamless connection and flow for the new leads coming through your forms. When a new lead comes through your form, you can have an automated updates. So you can send the customers information, you can update your team on new leads, and just have these automatic systems set in place that you can continue this nurturing process. Each client that comes to the form, you can track and have reporting on that. So you can see how many people have come through your form. You can track when and where these contacts came from. And all the form information is also stored inside that contacts record. So if you go into the contact CRM record, you can see exactly what information they filled out in that form. You can update those user fields automatically, and it's just fully integrated into your CRM. So when setting up your sign-up form, there are a few best practices that you want to kind of keep in mind. So some best practices to keep in mind is first, you want to identify the goals of your sign-up form. What is the purpose of this form and why should a new lead give you their information? What are they looking for? And that will help you determine what type of information you're needing to collect. So for example, a standard B2B sign-up form usually just contains simple data such as your name, the email of the person, what company they work for, and what is the title of their role within that company. I think that should give you a pretty decent understanding on who this lead is. And so you want to focus on only collecting the fields that are most important for you to have initially. And as the contact goes through the sales cycle, speaks with your team, gives you more information, you can start collecting more data later on. In the form, you also want to make sure that your call to action matches the offer at hand. And it must also be a prominent point on the form. This is the button that really helps sell the lead to submit their information, and so making sure your call to action aligns with that. And then if your form is on a public facing page, You want to include a security captcha to limit the amount of unwanted bots or spam coming through your form. So the security captcha basically it allows the person that has to fill in additional information, making sure that they are a valid person. You can also set it up so they can have a confirmation email to be sent to them. So you can make sure that the email they provided is in fact a legit email. So we'll go through different security options that you have. Before we dive into building your form, there's a few things that you want to have kind of like a checklist to make sure that when you are building the form, the contacts are properly stored and managed. So the first one is you want to create the group or groups that you're going to add these new contacts into. You also want to create any specific user-defined fields if you're collecting data for the contacts. So when they fill out the form, these user fields or custom object, if you're using that, will automatically be updated when the form is submitted for that contact. You also want to create a few different email templates. So the first email template you need is a confirmation email. This is as soon as the contact fills out that form, they get sent an email to verify they are a legit email address. For this to happen, you must include that confirmation placeholder, and that generates the link for the validation of the email. Then you also want a second email just to thank the contact for submitting their information, say you are verified, and also maybe you can include a link to the offering, such as an ebook download, or show them more information. You also want to have a couple thank you URLs created. So once the form is initially submitted, you want to have a URL that says thank you. Please check your email to confirm your address or your intent to join the group, something like that. And then the second thank you URL is once the contact has verified their email, so they've clicked on that confirmation email, you want to have a URL that says, great, thank you so much. Here's what you can expect next, something along those lines. If you don't create those templates or URLs, we do have system generated ones. But I think if you wanted to enhance that customer experience, it'll be really great if you can create those email templates and thank you URLs that align with your brand. And lastly, you also want to create any workflows or journeys or automated nurturing sequence. So as soon as the contact comes into your account, you want to continue that nurturing process as soon as possible. So just kind of think about what do you want to happen once a new lead enters your account, and that will help determine the types of workflows or journeys that you want to send the contact on. Before we dive into building the form, let's talk about why you want to customize your call to action buttons. So firstly, what is a call to action? It's a phrase that's used to tell the user exactly what action they should take and how they should take it. So we usually see a lot of businesses use the average sign up call to action at the bottom of the form. There is nothing really wrong with this, but it does not really tell the user anything specific. So basically, you spend a lot of time, energy, and money into the creation of your marketing efforts. So you put out ads in social media, blogging, email campaigns. You put a lot of time and energy trying to drive traffic to your website. So they land on your website and they come to this form. And then with a simple sign up call to action, you don't really convert as many clients as you should because it's a half-hearted call to action. So making sure that the call to action is something that motivates the contact will really help drive those that actually fill it out and your lead generation. So when thinking about your call to action, your words really do matter. So you don't just need any call to action, you want a strong one that convinces people to act. When thinking about the call to action, there are two main purposes. First one is to tell that visitor what they should do. And secondly, you want to give them the motivation to do so. An example of this is get started. Get started is a really great one, especially because it's a highly actionable word that suggests that your visitor will be able to move forward when using your product if they click on the button. In a way, it tells them what's next to come. They're getting started with your company. It's kind of an exciting, actionable word. With your call to action, your colors also matter. So the colors that you use in your button need to complement your brand and stand out from any other style designs that you're using on your website. Colors are proven to invoke different emotions. So use a color that reflects the type of response that you're looking for from the contacts. And a great tip is just to maximize the contrast between your call to action button and whatever background that you're working with. Really make that button pop out and be present on the page, not blend in with any of the other colors or schemes that you're working on in your design. You've probably seen an infographic like this around. It's nothing new, but your colors do matter. So a lot of popular ones include, blue, which is trust and loyalty. Facebook also uses blue, so people Facebook also uses blue, so people generally trust that kind of color and are familiar with it. Orange is also a really popular one as it shows confidence, success, sociability. So you really want to find the color and type of emotion that you're trying to show, and then add that into your call to action when designing it. So let's dive into SignUp and we'll talk about how you can design and build your sign-up forms. Once you log into the CRM, this is the main home dashboard. Before you create your form, you want to make sure that you have the specific groups created of where you want to house your contacts. You also want to create any specific user fields. So the user fields are going to be the base of those custom information that you're looking to collect. And then also, if you are using custom objects, you can do that within the apps dropdown and go to custom objects. Custom objects are great if you're wanting to have the contact upload a specific file, for example. So you can have an upload resume file, you can have information here. So just a really brief overview, the custom object would be upload your file, and the attribute type could be a file type that they would do. And you can connect it to the contact or company record here as well. So making sure that you have all those options created is a great place to start before building your form. Then once those are set up, you would go into the website SignUp Forms area. This is where all the forms that have been created are stored and managed. If you need to create a new form, you can click here to create a form. And then you can also use this new form to create a duplicate of a form that you have. For this example, let's go into our ebook download. When building a form, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about this. The first one would just be the Easy Builder. So you would activate the Easy Builder to streamline this list here. You would create your call to action button where you can adjust the thickness, radius, background colors, text, and really make that call to action have high contrast on your site. Then you go into the Easy Builder option. Here you can adjust what the form looks like by using any of the drag and drop options. And once you feel like the form looks what you're wanting it to, you would go into the fields. And this is where you can drag and drop any of the options that you're looking to collect. So you drag it straight into the field here and add it to your form. If you're wanting to make any of these fields be a mandatory, so when someone fills out the form, you would scroll down to the mandatory fields option and you would drag that same field into the mandatory fields. So this is now going to be required when a contact fills out your form. Next, you want to also add them into the specific groups that you've created. So here you can drag and drop your specific group into the option here, or simply remove them from any group in your account. From here, you can also test your form or make a copy of this form. Another option we have if you want to further customize this form is to use the regular builder. Within the Design tab, you have the option to have a more detailed option to build your forms. So here you can uncheck the Easy Builder option to show all the back-end settings. From here, you can click on the first question mark icon to kind of see the different form designs that you can select from. These are different templates. Most of them are mobile responsive, which you'll see that little slash here. And the correlating name here can be selected from the drop-down. So from here, you can select the drop-down menu and select what type of form format you want to use. You can link to your CSS file form here, or just copy paste any custom CSS here. Here you can add logos, pictures, images, or any text above the form. And then as well as above the list of groups. So if you're wanting the contacts to select what type of groups they want to be added into, you can have any text above that list of groups, or check to not show any text above the groups. If your form shows that there are some groups associated with the form, and you don't want that to happen, in that group settings, I'll show you here. If you go into that group settings of the specific group that's showing and scroll down to the membership visibility here, make sure that that group is set to hidden. So if it is set to public or private, that group might show in your form where the contacts can select. But if you want to hide that altogether, just make sure the membership is hidden inside the group settings. Next, we have the Groups tab. Here's where you can associate what types of groups you want to add this contact into. Here you'll see the group settings is shown to hidden, private, or public. So if you do not want this group to show within your form, make sure you update the group settings to make it hidden. Here you can also automatically add them into a specific group or give them the option to join this group. You can also set up logic depending on the groups. So let's say you select this to automatically join and you save the form. Once the form has reloaded, you'll see now there's an add logic option. What this allows you to do is to filter contacts coming through your form, especially if they meet a specific criteria. So here we'll do our lead source is Facebook. And so if contacts come through the form and fill out that they came in through Facebook, once they submit, they will only be added into Facebook if they meet the criteria. So this option gives us more customization by segmenting the contacts based on logic here. The next tab we have is the information. This is where you will set what type of information you're looking to collect from the contacts. You can add specific text here, which allows you to add more information depending on the types of content that comes below it. It's a really great way to kind of segment your sign-up form into different sections. What you'll want to do here is you can have the field be required. And then you can also, let's say we want phone number and website. You can also drag and drop these different options to order where you want them to be in the form. Email is always going to be a required field that you want to do. And then again, you can also add logic to show specific fields or not. If you are using custom objects in your form, custom objects will be located all the way along the bottom. Here you can have contacts upload files. If you're using the form to do that, you would want to create the custom object first and then add that object into the form, not through the Easy Builder, through the regular option. So we can save that so I can show you what that looks like. Now that we've created a form, we can test what the form is going to show for the contact. So you click that test option here, we'll see our logo we added, email address, and all the information here. Here is our custom object where we can have the contact upload a file. So they'll select the file they want to do, and that'll also be added into their contact record. This form also has a CAPTCHA, which is that security level, which we can cover right now and show you how to set that up. So if we go back into GreenRope, this is all going to be done within the Options tab. So regardless if you're using the Easy Builder or that more detailed option, you do have that options here where you want to dive more into the specifics. So within the data capture area, you have a few options. If you're using custom objects, you will now see that there are 2 additional settings here. For the custom object, which we created that upload resume or file option, you can have it expanded or compressed. Basically what that means, if you have a lot of different attributes in your custom object, you can show none of the attributes if you use the compressed. This will only show that custom object type, and then once they click to see more, they click a little plus option. It'll show them all the fields. I think that looks a little cleaner depending on how many attributes you have. Otherwise, if you only have a single attribute or want to show them right off the bat, you can use the expanded option. Then you also have the option to allow multiple objects. So if you're using the same custom object to upload multiple files or collect duplicates of the same object, you can set this to yes or no depending on how many times you want the visitor to be able to use this field. The allow free webmail is when you want to allow people coming through Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook kind of domains. If this is set to no, it'll only accept business domains. So this is great if you are only wanting to collect real valid leads with a business domain. Security versus ease is how you want the contact to be able to fill out the form. So right now we have it set to the maximum security with CAPTCHA, which shows that CAPTCHA option as well as has them double confirm their opt-in. So it sends them an email to verify their address. You also have the option to do the easiest use, which is no CAPTCHA required. You can do a single opt-in, so the contact needs to fill in the CAPTCHA, but they don't need to have that double opt-in option. So this is a pretty low IP limit. You don't want to have a lot of unwanted spams coming in. Otherwise, we have no CAPTCHA and single opt-in. So if you want people just to fill out the form, come into your account, you want to set up more of that security to prevent unwanted or not valid emails from coming into your account. So those are the different options you can do in terms of security. Progressive profiling just looks and sees if there's any other information from the contact here. So what it does, it adds cookies into the user's browser. So if they've interacted with your system and they're returning, it can auto-populate any fields that they have previously filled out. So if you want to help that person automatically populate fields, you would set this to yes if it's a known contact. Then the next one, you have the option to overwrite the data already in the CRM. So if a new contact comes in through the form, you can either have whatever's in their CRM record be updated with this new information, or you can set this to no, which only adds information to the contact record if that field is blank. Next, we have the web page action. So this is what do you want to happen once the contact has filled out the form. If there's an error in the form, you have a couple different options. You can either have them resubmit the form, or you can simulate a back button, which kind of reloads the form for the contact to fill out. Once they've filled out the form, you want to send them to a thank you URL to say, please check your email to verify your address, something along those lines. Then you can have this show in the same frame of where the form is. You can redraw a new page or open a whole new window with this URL. So depending on the type of URL, I like to keep it in the same frame so it keeps it condensed to where that form is. Next, once the contact has confirmed their intent, you can send them to a second URL. This is upon their email confirmation. So what this does, once the contact has confirmed and verified their email address, you will send them to a thank you URL with more steps and what to expect. If the contact is already in your group, you can send them to a custom URL that says, you're already part of this group, thank you. And you can see all of these are optional. So if you do not add those in, you'll have the system generated word. But I do like to keep this on brand, so direct them to something on your website here. If the contact is already in your account, you can require confirmation, or you can set this to no to bypass this first confirmation step. Next, we have the email communications that are coming through this form. So right now, who your form is going to be sent from and the email address that the emails are going to be coming through. Then you can also send an alert email to anyone on your team to notify them of the new contact that came in through the form. If you're adding multiple email addresses, you would do a comma space and add whoever you need to notify. Then if we're doing the double opt-in, you want to send the client that confirmation email. This is so they can confirm their intent, validate their email address, and just add them into that system here. So what you'll do is you'll select your email, and then you can also select a specific subject line if it's different to how the email was saved. From here, you can also edit the file. So basically, this is my simple file that I created. This is the button that I want them to confirm their email. And if I click on that, you'll see that I have that confirmation placeholder embedded behind my button for the contact. If you want to learn a few more options here, click on the first question mark icon. It'll show you some design tips, a specific link you can use, and other options that you can do to create this template. What I like to do if the contact has not clicked on my form, let's say in 24 hours, I could send them that email again. And this just allows them to give one more chance to kind of confirm and verify their email address. Now that the contact has confirmed, we can go down to the upon confirmation to see what we want to do now that they have confirmed and are in your account. From here, you can immediately send the contact a follow-up email. This is a great way if you are sending them, in this example would be an ebook download. So I would go here and I would select my ebook email that I've created and now get that ebook once they've confirmed. And here you can also identify the email subject line if you wanted to do that here. Once the person has confirmed, you can activate a specific workflow from anyone on your team to follow up with the contact. Also, you can start them on a journey, which is a nurturing sequence. For this example, we have an ebook journey here that we will start the contact on, and you can select if you want to allow restart for this journey or not. Upon the confirmation of the contact, this is where you can send a notification email to anyone on your team. And then you can also change the notification headline to something more specific for your team to be notified. If you're using this form to create a membership site, you can also create and send a login and password for them. If they're already in the group, you can allow them to fill out the form or not here. You can assign a specific amount of lead points to this form. You can automatically update their location and research the contact from here. So this is once someone has confirmed their intent, you can set up that automation. So what we did is we are starting the contacts on our ebook download journey. Another option you could do would be just to set up auto responders. So for example, you could wait a delay of an hour before they come through, and you can send them a specific email that you're wanting to do. Then you can wait, let's say 24 hours or a day, and you can send them email too. So this is a quick way that you can send some automatic responders just to nurture the contact here. Otherwise, you can also set up your Gmail schema here, which basically you have to have your record set up, and it adds a special confirmation button in their inbox subject line for them. So it's kind of an alternative to the confirmation email, but you'll just want to set that up and come back here to get a link. So instead of the autoresponders, let me show you what that journey looks like. So as soon as a contact comes through the form, here they will go through our journey, and this is the journey that the contact is going to go through. So as you'll see, we have a decision point that filters out anyone that's in our current clients group because we only want to nurture the new contacts. So we'll stop them on the journey. We'll send them email 1, wait some time and see if they clicked. If they clicked on our link, we'll follow up with them then. Otherwise, we'll wait some time, send email 2, have a 48-hour delay, see if they clicked, and just kind of continue that process. If they go through here and did not click or engage, we'll add them into an unresponsive group and stop the journey. So you can create something similar, or depending on how you want to continue nurturing that contact, by starting them on a journey after they filled out your form. So let's go through and test this sign up form here. So this is the form that we just created together, and we'll fill out the information. So this is the form. We just filled out the information, and we'll complete that CAPTCHA option at the bottom to verify that we are a valid email address. And we'll select to download our ebook. This now takes me to that thank you URL that says, please check my email address to confirm. So now I'll go into my email account. Now within my email account, you'll see that I got that confirm your email address, and I can click on this button here to validate and confirm my email. This now takes me to the second thank you URL that I created, which allows me to download my free ebook here. So once I've confirmed, I also sent myself an email version of this. So I should be getting another email that tells me, thank you so much for verifying. Here's your ebook as well in case you missed it. And then it'll start me on that lead nurturing journey that we have created. Next, let's talk about embedding the form onto your site. So now that you've created your form and tested the process, you want to add it into your website page. A few of the top places that on your page that you can include your form includes if you have a sidebar on your website. This is a simple way that makes it easily accessible for your visitors to fill out this form, regardless of where they are on your website. Another place is the About Us page. Visitors are usually showing an interest in learning more about your company, who you are, and what others are saying about you. So give them a form on this page that lets them connect with you and to learn more. Next, we have our Contact Us page. So on this page, you really want to spell out why someone should contact you and how you can help solve their needs. So visitors on this page are more likely to do business with you, and so give them a form that enables that. There's back and forth above whether you should put the form above the fold or below. You can actually do both. So there's a study done that content showed above the fold. So when you're looking at your website, anything before you need to scroll is seen by site visitors 102% times more than that information below the fold. But it also, people do scroll for a reason, and they want to do this because they want to learn more about your business. So these contacts that are willing to scroll and learn more about your business will fill out this form even if it is below the fold. So think about the content that you're sharing and where the most appropriate place for your form would be. Another one is after your blog post or in the footer of your content or website. So people come to your site and they're reading your post, and you really want to inspire these visitors with your content and encourage them to want to learn more. So you can add a form at the bottom of your blog post or even at the bottom of your page. And this is a great way for people that are scanning through your content to always land on a form to fill out. And then lastly, you can also do a delayed pop-up. So you would set up rules around your form to show this pop-up form when visitors enter your site. So you can wait a certain amount of delay, have that pop-up window come, or you can also add it when clients are thinking of leaving your site. You can have an exit pop-up here. So inside GreenRope, where you'll find this information is you go into the website SignUp Forms area again. Here you'll see right next to the form that you've created, you have that HTML option. This option here will show the different ways that you can embed this form into your site. So you can do a link, you'll have the HTML form, iframe, or the floating iframe and pop-up. So click on any of the HTML options here to embed this specific form into your site. So the different ways that you can embed your form, like we said in that HTML button next to your form, you have that link method. So this is a direct link to your sign-up form, and you can add this link into any button on your website, or if you're sending email communications to your contacts, you'll include that link. There's the HTML form method, which uses the HTML source code to modify or embed this form in your site. You can also use the iframe. This is probably the most popular method of embedding the form, as it takes the entire form and enters this on inside an inline frame, which is the iframe, and it puts that into your website. So any edits you do to your form is going to directly, in real time, update in this iframe because it's the actual form itself. Next, you also have the floating iframe. So you can use the floating iframe if you want to hide the form to the side of your page. So it's the same as the iframe, but it's not in an inline, it's just a floating option. And then you can also add a time delay pop-up. So you can make the form appear on the screen after a certain amount of time. For example, 10 seconds after the visitor has landed on your page. So let's give a quick recap of what we covered in this webinar. So the first thing you want to do is just identify your purpose. So what is the form for? What type of information are you needing to collect? And what content or resources can you share with your new contacts? Then you want to build your internal processes. So you want to make sure you have the right groups that you're adding contacts into, create the user fields or custom objects, the confirmation emails or any other nurturing emails you're working on, the thank you URLs, as well as any workflows for the automation post form. Then you'll want to design and build your form. So identify if you want to use the Easy Builder or use one of our templates. Then you can also add a custom CSS to match the branding on your website, add contacts into a specific group in your account, and then you'll add what type of user fields you're using to collect this information. You want to make sure you customize your call to action button. So use the psychology of colors, increase the contrast of your call to action, and then use direct and simple wording. So make sure you tell them what you want them to do and motivate them to do it. Then you want to go through and set up all the different options in the form. So select if you want to do security versus ease. Once the form has been submitted, what automation do you want to happen? Define if you want to notify anyone on your team with new form submissions. Once the form has submitted, do you want to send them to different thank you URLs, send them different emails? And then also you can activate different workflows to happen through that options area. And then lastly, you want to embed this form on your site. So determine where on your site you want to place this form, and then what type of embedding option you want to use. So either the link, the HTML source code, the iframes, or the delayed pop-up options. So if you do need help with your sign-up forms or you have any questions, you can find our support team at support@greenup.com. There's a lot of information in the help section, and then we also do have a correlating blog on our website with more information about this. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we hope you enjoy creating your sign-up forms.